Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday morning here in Seoul. I hope you guys are all doing well. It would be Tuesday evening your time. Yes, I decided to do a surprise live for where I'm going to be for the next month or so. And have been for, I think, 2 weeks now, fully acclimated to Seoul, Korea time. Hello, guys. Say hello to me. Where are you guys dialing in from? This is a surprise live. I did not plan it ahead of time, but I was like, you know what? I have to go live because just got stuff to share. So, first of all, I barely got any sleep. So as you guys know, if you've been following my stories, I work overnight East Coast time. So that's not easy. But I was so excited that I got up normal because it's 9 a.m. here in Seoul Wednesday morning. It's a beautiful morning, as I could see, super sunny, as you could see in the background, and ready to start the day. So where are you guys dialing in from? Okay, Atlanta, Mississippi, Tennessee, so the U.S. Hello, I see some friendly faces. Ohio. Watching this at 1%. Yeah, charge your phone. I had to make sure I charge my phone because I forgot to do it overnight. Long Island, Connecticut. Oh, yay, you're also in Seoul. Awesome. San Diego. New Zealand. Yay, hello. South Carolina. So I am greeting you after 2 weeks and a few days of being here. Hello from Spain, Wisconsin. And I have things to share. So first of all, you guys know that I came, or Oklahoma, Boston, I'm going to keep getting distracted. I came earlier, I keep saying I came earlier than planned because it was a big deal for me to shift my entire schedule a month ahead. So I literally had planned to be in Seoul about a week before my first tour, which I'll talk about shortly, which starts April 2nd, which, by the way, as I'm checking all the cherry blossoms and the pattern that's showing, it literally says blossoms in Seoul, or it starts blossoming in Seoul, April 2nd. That's when the first tour starts. I'm like, that's good luck, right? And then we have about a week or two, and I think maybe even into 3 weeks to see the cherry blossoms. So I think it's a great sign that it starts April 2nd here in Seoul. So I came early for a project, which I still cannot share about, but I am learning so much. This is technically the first time I came not on my own schedule. So number one, the first thing I learned was when things are not in my control, it's very stressful. And so it was stressful to go with a certain schedule that wasn't mine, but also exciting because the greater picture of why I came early and had to shift my schedule a month ahead was for mental health, meaning to promote mental health. It's my field, and it was such a privilege to do it, and I'm still in the process of it. So even in between the tours and then, coming back in the summer and then the fall, yes, I will still be here. You'll see me going back and forth actually, and it's going to be quite crazy. So when my book releases May 7th, I will be back in the US for a brief, I would say, launch tour. It's going to be a whirlwind. I would say 3 cities, and then speaking engagements within 2 weeks, and then most likely back in Seoul. Oh no, then my son graduates from college, and then back in Seoul. So it's a little cray, but fun crazy. And you guys have been seeing that Flower of Evil. Yes, actually one of them I'm going to check out. You guys are seeing that I'm checking out lots of K-drama locations. When I check them out, number one, I check them out because I want to. Number two, for potential changes to my 2024 itinerary because I'm already, what was that? Oh, I love when that happens. Did you just see what I just did? I hope I do it again. I check them out for potential to add to the itinerary. Now, sometimes the tour team's like, you're going to add this? I was like, yes. And recently they're like, no. One of them, they're like, there's no way we can go across town and do this. I was like, darn. Because just so you guys know, on my tours, for those who have attended my tours, it's jam-packed. Now, this particular year is the same, not more, maybe a little bit more, but just as active. Because I'm trying to get you to see so much in 8 days, okay? So that's why I pack it in. So yes, I'm scouting some new locations because Dr. Slump locations, Queen of Tears, Marry My Husband. Some of them are very doable. So we'll be seeing some of those new sites. And then obviously for the fall, when that's a whole nother section of tours, there's going to be more new sites because there's going to be new K-dramas. So this is why I went live. Okay. Let me show you. Are you guys ready? I was waiting for all you guys to hop on because, oh wait, it's not morning there. It's morning here for me. It's evening. Here's why I decided to join live. Dun, dun, dun. I received an early copy of my book. This is my book, guys, in my hand, okay? And I'm just so happy about it. I got it shipped to Korea. So I said, please, publisher, please, I am in Korea. You know I am. I would love to have it shipped to me. Of course, it was a no-brainer. But let me tell you this. They FedExed it, and it got stuck in customs. So, you know, thank goodness we speak Korean, but we had to like show proof of residency technically, and we're not even citizens, but then I had to show that I was a US citizen. And we had to go through like literally hoops and bounds to get this book. And I was like, oh my God, I just want my book. I just want my book. It took about a week. It took about a week, guys. So I was like, I'm going live the minute I get it. Yep, came, I would say less than 24 hours, FedEx, personal delivery, because they knew that we were waiting for it because we constantly called Incheon Customs. I mean, it was stuck in the airport because I think they were like, it's a commercial product. Well, yes, it is, but it's my book. This is what it looks like, guys. This is actually the paperback, but you will receive the hardback cover for now. And I'm so proud of it. And so part of also why I'm here is promoting my book, and it is going to be, of course, translated. Yes, my baby has arrived. Thank you for that. That means so much. And seeing it proof going, oh my goodness. And I was going to give you a little glimpse because I know you guys pre-ordered it. If you haven't, please do so. The pre-order matters. I'll send the link in the caption and in the story, but you also get a free webinar from me. But I will tell you the names of my chapters. Yeah, so a brief reading. Well, actually, I start with an introduction, and then K-dramas are for self-care is early on because that's how they started in my life. So I'm very passionate about that. That's why I go to that. I'm not telling you to watch more K-dramas to binge watch K-dramas. Yeah, no, that's actually not my message. My message is to take away life lessons surrounding your mental health and just well-being, resilience, identity, mindfulness from K-dramas that we can take away from their stories. And so I'm outlining reasons why. So for instance, each chapter starts with K-dramas and processing grief. So I am very clear that this is a book on mental health. So K-dramas and processing grief. K-dramas in Korean, Han. That is an emotion that you'll learn about. K-dramas and healing our traumas. K-dramas and post-traumatic stress disorder. K-dramas and suicide awareness. K-dramas and coping with depression. K-dramas and managing anxiety. That's actually section 1. So I wanted to point that out to you because it's K-dramas, but I'm talking about mental health topics. And that's very important. So, oh my goodness, I almost feel like I'm getting emotional because this book is the first of its kind. And on the front cover, I had to have the word Chung. I had to show Korean because at the end of the day, I'm talking about Korean culture, Korean identity. It's everything. What didn't you know? I don't know. It means a lot to be able to have this Korean word on my chapter cover. And then obviously on the front flap, which you can't see because this is a pre-advanced copy for media and stuff, I have my endorsements. And so I'll be slowly sharing my endorsements, which mean a lot to me. And all my endorsements, the folks that read the book that I gave early access to say something about it were special people in my life, people that I got to know through my work, but also through the K-content industry. And all of them did say, which is what I want, is that they felt seen and heard, but also emotional reading it. So obviously, if you're watching K-dramas, I'm trying to bring out the emotion through my book to the best of my ability. So, no worries. So I hope that you also enjoy it. So if you haven't ordered it, please do so because the pre-order matters. And the next thing I want to share is I am planning a book tour. Around the launch, I will be in 4 major cities: DC, New York, Los Angeles, and the San Francisco Bay Area. So those are the done deals that I'm currently in the works planning, meaning we have dates for them. Yay! And that's around my book launch. After that, because I have to be back in Korea, then it'll come summer and the fall, in between tours, and Korea, where I'll be in the other parts of the US, like Chicago, Seattle, Tampa, Atlanta. I think those were the other cities. Oh, Boston. So yes, those are on the list. I would love to come to New Zealand. Yeah, we could discuss a book event there. Sure. I would love to go there. Yeah, I wanted to see if anybody had questions for me while I'm here. Yeah, so here it is. This is the book that I've been waiting for. And, Flower of Evil. Yeah, I saw it once because a lot of them I see a couple times. It's an excellent, that's the one with Lee Joon-gi, right? I highly recommend it. It's a really good one, especially, and I think I highlight it when it comes to marriage too and their relationship. And I loved his relationship with his daughter. So that's the big news, and that's why I went live. And then I wanted to talk about the change I'm seeing in Korea. So you guys know I'm here, and I talk about mental health everywhere I go. I mean, if you meet me in Korea, you'll know what I do for a living because I talk about it and I'm very passionate about it. And I would say even a year ago, definitely 2 years ago, when I talked about what I do for a living, mental health expert, mental health speaker, therapist, everything related to that. And I'm very direct with the words I use in Korean, 정신 건강. I say all this, and I'm very firm about it because I want to break through that stigma. Well, 2 years ago, I clearly remember the look that I got when I shared about what I do, which is a little taken aback. People going, oh, mental health. Oh, gotcha, right? It shifted the conversation, definitely. This was 2 years ago. Last year, I would say it was more like, oh, interesting. Yeah, that hesitancy. Well, there's a lot of things changing, as you see in the Korean content, right? Lots of K-dramas, maybe being more direct about it. It was always in the K-dramas. Mental health was always there because I say it's an everyday thing, every moment thing. But the difference is now it's really a main part of the storyline that we're seeing in some of the current K-dramas playing. Dr. Slump is obviously an obvious one. A Forbes article was written, which I haven't shared yet, talking about My Happy Ending, which was an obvious one with mental illness, A Daily Dose of Sunshine. Queen of Tears, we saw it, which if you haven't seen it yet, early on in episode 1, great cameo. We cracked up. It was great seeing that cameo. So I highly recommend you start that K-drama. But they're becoming much more direct about how they're talking about it. Well, because I have to talk about what I do, especially when I'm in my work here and I say, this is what I do. And so I wait for the response. And the response has completely, I would say 100% shifted just in the matter of these last 2 years. If anything, I'll just tell you something. I'm kind of pretty popular. They're like, oh, yeah, so tell me more. And I'm like, did they just ask me to tell me more? That's amazing to me. And this is all ages. This is from baby, and I look at intergenerationality. Remember, that's a big part of my work. So mental health is very different, all generations, very different, especially in Korea. So from Gen Zs to millennials to Gen Xers to baby boomers, talking about what I do, and the response has been very similar. I would say I'm having more conversations with people my age and younger, just because of the language barrier as well, but also because they're more apt to talk about it, right? And they're more into the trending topics and things that they see in social media and the news and K content. But still, I absolutely am pleasantly, I don't want to even say surprised anymore, but the response is astounding. The change when I share what I do, saying, I'm a mental health expert. Oh, yeah, so therapy, yes, that's what I do. I do workshops, talk about mental health, stigma, anxiety, depression, you name it, trauma. I'll say all of that, and the intrigue gets more and more. So that is how Korea has shifted, and that's what you're seeing in the Korean content, right? And I recently did a reel that talked about K-dramas being written mostly by women from a female perspective. So let me clarify, because some people are like, wait, this is not from this story isn't. So this doesn't mean the story is being told from a female. The stories are told depending on who the character is, from a male perspective, from the male character, from the female character, even the side character. Those are different perspectives of the story. But when you have stories, K-dramas written by women, I'm talking about how they're portraying the characters, What is the message they're giving out? What are the female characters especially looking like? What are the male characters looking like? That's what you're seeing. And for instance, in the last, 2-3 years, you're seeing many K-dramas showing women leaders, executives, making these big high-powered decisions, doing great things. Woo Young-woo to, search www to the most recent dramas, even in Queen of Tears, who's the CEO, right? That's what I mean from the female perspective. Women are portrayed differently from the traditional male gaze. That's what I'm saying. And yes, these K-dramas are mostly written by women. And one of the things I'll tell you in the industry, writers have a lot of power. Let's put it that way. I've talked to directors, producers. I'm flat out when I ask my questions. They're always like, that's when I bring my reporter lens in. I'm going, I have some questions. I want to know. I'm not just a mental health expert just to talk about K-dramas and, bring in these conversations. I want to talk about the industry. How does the industry work? What's the stress level like? And PDs and directors, they'll tell you, the writers have the most power. And if the writers are mostly women, that's what I'm going to tell you, right? And that's great to hear. And obviously you still want to have diverse perspectives. So I'm not saying it's got to stay that way, but I wanted to point that out because that's why they're so emotionally gripping, women writers writing this and bringing out these issues that I would some say changing society for good, right? And that's the whole hope of content. That's the whole point of writing books. This is obviously nonfiction, but the hope is for change. This is why I named my private practice Your Change Provider. That's how I started. That is the core of my work, to provide change. I'm going to look here. So a lot of the K-drama, so I wanted to explain that. And because people are like, wait a second, this isn't from that perspective. That's what I mean from the female perspective, female focused narratives of how these women are presented to us. What do they look like? They have a lot of power. By the way, in my work, I'm a researcher too at heart, because as a clinician, I'm constantly doing research, even with people I speak to, like clients, to workshops I give. All the information that I'm digesting leads to research. So in the special thing that I'm working on, the special project I'm working on, guess what I discovered? The women that are in the industry have a high position. So when I was at this, I'm trying to be vague because I can't share a lot. I was so moved, and I'm watching. If people people see me watching because I'm like, nunchi this, nunchi that. It's very Korean. Let me look at this. Interesting. How's that going? And I'm watching everything as I'm talking to folks, and I'm realizing when I saw some women leaders. And just so you know, in Korean culture, you see that in the K-dramas, but I got a glimpse of it in real life because I believed it to be true in real life. It's also women hoping for that, manifesting it, in some sense, wanting this to happen. That's the stories that they're writing. But in real life, I witnessed it firsthand. That I was like, and I'm seeing everybody around this woman walking in. I kid you not. I was like, this is a scene from a K-drama. I have to be careful because I can't always film, so I didn't film it, but it's in my head where she walked in with like 13 people. I think I counted. Okay, maybe it was 9 because the other ones were not part of that. And then she had a male assistant. I'm bringing that in because, again, people ask all the time, are what we seeing in K-dramas realistic? I still hold true that almost everything that we see is realistic. Not the scenarios, right? Not the grandiose business proposal scenarios of the chebos, and that obviously is dramatized. But the people you see and their reactions and their relationships and the conflicts they have and the nuances of workplaces, that I believe from what I'm seeing is real. And obviously I'm not in everyday corporate Korea, as I say, corporate America, corporate Korea, but I was yesterday. I told you that I had something cool, and I'll share about that later. It's always Nunchi going, oh, this is fascinating. They just came back from lunch. And because it was like, we got in an elevator, and yes, they packed the elevator. So I was in one of the first ones. I was in the corner, and I was like, I should film this because I'm stuck in a corner of a K-drama looking elevator. And there were like 15 people in that elevator that had just come back from lunch team lunch. And I'm listening to their conversation, and I think it's so cool because they're like two teams. They're like, how was your lunch? Oh, it was good. We had this. How was yours? Oh, cool. And then they all got off the same floor. So I'm like, oh, they work at the same company. But I'm sharing this with you because that's also a reflection of what you see in the K-dramas. They go to lunch. There is a lunch break. There's some things out there that out here that are not tourist oriented, that they will have a break from 12 to 1 for lunch. Now, the US does that as they do, but not really. Like, I actually see it scheduled. I'm like, that's kind of cool considering how much Korea works. They do have late hours, but sharing that with you because, again, I can't always film and I don't want to be rude and be like, let me pull out my camera and show what they're talking about. But they were talking about what they ate for lunch, and they were coming back with iced coffee, which is what you see in the K-dramas. So I had that was my main update, sharing about my book. I am very proud of it. Also very nervous because I hope you guys like it. And you will see even some graphs and some drawings in the book and these come from me. So you can outline a little bit of what I'm talking about. I'm trying to show some other things. I couldn't really show pictures. Like, I couldn't show like crash landing, but I talk about them. And always at most of my end of my chapters are my list of K-dramas. So of course I'm going to provide those lists. A lot of things you know, but you'll see stories in here. And then I end with my, of course, ultimate list. My top 20 favorite K-dramas of all time. You're just going to have to wait for the book for it to know what that is. A lot of you probably know what that is, but my top 20 of all time. And actually, when I do like top favorites, when people ask me, I try not to think about it and I write down or say quickly what comes to mind. And what came to mind were pretty much what stayed the same. I took a couple things out, moved a little bit of things, but this is pretty much my top 20 list. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, and you guys know my number one. That has not changed. But I'm like, wow, these are some good K-dramas. Some classic ones and some new ones that are on this list. You could buy it on Amazon. And those on my April tour, I really wish the book was ready for you because obviously you won't get it till May, so I can't sign it. But don't worry, we'll figure that out. But you'll see a copy of it because I'll be toting it around everywhere I go on the tour. No, I'll show you guys already. It is available on Amazon, I believe, everywhere. So please tune into that. And then you get a free webinar from me when you order. So that said, thank you for joining my live. You'll be seeing me gallivanting about the rest of the week. And then doing some more vacationing. I would say vacationing / traveling next week. I say vacationing because I see it as vacation, even though I'll still be doing overnights. That's the other thing here. I am during the day doing what I can, half working and half playing with K-drama sites. And I see that as play. But then at night I'm working. And so I have continued as best as I could my East Coast schedule so it's not disrupted. And then of course I have to add more things in. So I hope on the tours, if you see me kind of looking zombied, it's because maybe I pulled an all-nighter. And I'm trying not to do that on my tours, but a couple nights I have to because of my work. So yeah, see you soon. I'm going to take a look at these comments now if I missed anything. Thank you for joining. I love this. Someone talked about being touched by mental health. Mental health is every day, guys, every day. So these lessons are everyday lessons. Mental illness is not every day, though people live with mental illness every day, but it's a specific diagnosis, so very separate. I'm going to keep saying that because they still get confused. And sometimes in what we see in the K-dramas, it can be exaggerated, dramatized, right? But still very well done in the K-dramas. Written mostly by women who do their research, I find out. They do a lot of research, let me tell you. So things like that I'm finding out with the industry. Anything else you want to know about the industry, I will share because I ask lots of questions. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Have a great evening. I will have a great Wednesday. And you'll probably see me again because I'm meeting up with some tour folks. Oh my goodness, that's so cool. I didn't mean to do that, but yay. Oh, let me talk about Kopiko. Oh my goodness. So I am working with, I would say, millennials in the industry. And I cracked them up actually when I had a bunch of Kopiko in my backpack and I gave it to them. Now, let me show you. They gave me this candy. Okay. They were all eating this candy and I was like, wait, what is that? I haven't seen it. And they're like, oh, it's so good. And they gave it to me. It's like, if you've had Korean haichus, but better. And it's also like an American Now and Later, but a little less hard. So they're delicious. This is strawberry, grape, I don't know what flavor. As you can tell, we got some, right? But then I gave them Kopiko in exchange. I'm like, here you go, because I'm their 언니, and they're calling me 언니. That is true life. They will call you 언니, 오빠, 형. I love that. So they're calling me 언니, and I'm like, here's some Kopiko, and they cracked up, and I go, why are you laughing? I love Kopiko, and I need it. They're like, no one eats Kopiko. And then I realized when I grew up, you would see Kopiko in convenience stores or gas stations. So the young folks were cracking up at me going, and they left the Kopiko on the table, FYI. But I go, we see it so much in K-dramas. They're like, yeah, because it's a Southeast Asia product that's trying to promote in the K-dramas. So I was cracking up when they were like, Jeannie, yeah, why don't you go ahead and get these instead and share these at the company, at the workplace? And I was like, okay, gotcha. So don't share the Kopiko, no sugar. They didn't even touch them. Now, these are obviously millennials, but I think it's different with the older population. But no, everyone asked, they're like, yeah, no, that's just in the K-dramas. They're not very popular. And if you look at the convenience stores, they're right there by the convenience store. It's like one of those things when you have in the markets in the US, like the CVS or the gas stations, you see something. That's what Kopiko is here. So I didn't know that because that was my first time giving out Kopiko to Korean nationals. And that was the response I got. And that was funny. And then I asked some other folks too, like my friends, they're like, yeah, like people eat this, or the coffee gum. There's coffee gum, which is very classic. So I'm just sharing that with you. FYI, look at these, and these are really good. So I had to share that with you. And then I also have right here, because I'm getting ready for the day and have to apply this concealer. This is my latest product that's all the rage at Olive Young. It's like a concealer / moisturizer. Oh my gosh. I saw someone use it on Sunday. I'm like, what's that? and then I go to Olive Young, and then I see it like right on display, this. So yeah, we're going to have some fun at Olive Young on my tour too, because that's the last day. So you're not toting around all these products. So I had to share that. Yeah, I know. Queen of Divorce. It's in every K-drama. It's in Dr. Slump. Kopiko. Yeah, no, they don't really eat them here. You don't see them. They eat these. And then iced coffee. All that's true. They're really into their coffee. And that's one last thing I forgot to share. Oh, the concealer. This is by Jungsemul, and I love it. And it's my concealer. You know what I'll do is I'll link it in my story, but it's the latest thing here. And it makes sure, if you can see, it makes your kind of skin glowy. I have very dry skin, and so I need to constantly moisturize. And in Korea as well, because I'm constantly out and about. Oh, I also have to share K-Talk. I'm going to do a YouTube live with my first guest in Korea, which is somebody I really respect for one so young, a K-pop journalist turned public relations consultant. So she's in a different industry, made a switch, but she has a lot of good stuff to say, and you're going to see me go live with her Saturday Eastern time and Pacific time. Sunday morning Korea time. This time change is hard. We have no daylight savings in Korea. So the daylight savings in the US helped me because it went from 13 hours instead of 14 hours. So tune in this weekend, but you'll see me around. You'll see me around, and I'm going to do some fun stuff in the next couple weeks. All right, those are my tours. I cannot wait to see you. I'm trying to get those balloons again in a couple weeks, and I can't wait because we're going to have lots of fun and get ready to see cherry blossoms. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll post on what time on Saturday. Bye.